At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
The future. That's where our minds are at Western Illinois University Quad Cities. We are innovators searching for something new outside of the textbooks. Dog-loving, leadership-driven, world-changing. Whether you choose to study on campus or online, your future is designed on your terms. Start your future at wiu.edu/QC.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.
Hard to believe it, but it's back to school time, and that means some big changes at one of the largest school districts in the cities. The first full week of August means the start of the new school year in the Rock Island Milan School District. There'll be a lot of fresh faces this year. Not only kindergartners starting their elementary school careers and new teachers and students arriving for their first day of classes, but also a new school superintendent who officially took over right now. We talked with Dr. Sharon Williams about her new job at the Rock Island Milan Schools, her philosophy of education, the first controversial move in her tenure, and her plan to keep kids in the classroom until they graduate. Well, first off, welcome to the Rock Island Milan School District.
Thank
and
you.
It's the start of a new school year.
It is very exciting.
Tell me what that's like. I mean, every beginning of a school year has got to be somewhat special.
Yes, so our school district holds a back to school bash. It was held yesterday. Thankfully, the rain held off for us. We had all of our schools represented, many of our community partners. We had our cheerleaders there. It was just an exciting time to get back in the mood for school, ending our summer intersession and ready to get back to school, and we start August 5th.
What's it like to start a new school year? Because, I mean, it's all possibilities at that point.
Yes, so definitely a brand new start. We have many new school leaders who are joining the district or moving to different schools within the district. Very exciting about that. We also have some new district office leaders, and we're working as a team, a leadership team, to get our schools ready. I just had a conversation with our maintenance and operations director about making sure that our schools were spruced up and clean and ready for our students and staff on the first day.
You're not really used to school starting this early, the first full week of August.
I am not. So most of my experiences, we've started mid-August or around Labor Day.
Right.
And that gives students, staff, families kind of a longer summer break. But we have had a balanced calendar for many years, and I believe it really benefits our students and staff, our scholars and staff, because we have some intersessions that kind of break up the school year. So that does cause for a shorter summer intersession. However, we're ready to go on August 5th.
There's always this fear of an educational lag or a drop-off between one school year and the next. Do you think in some ways this puts Rock Island a little bit of a step ahead because it's a little bit of a shortened time, you can get the kids back into the classroom?
Absolutely. So that was one of the impetus for balanced calendars across our country, and the Rock Island Milan School District has practiced that over many years. The shorter breaks do help with learning loss that can occur during summer school. We do have enrichment activities that help bridge some of that gap in our intersessions during the school year, but also in the summertime, so that scholars have something to do and look forward to learning and playing during the summer to get ready for the next school year.
Let's talk about you in particular. You were supposed to start July 1st. It got moved back to June 1st, but in many ways you started May 1st.
Yes.
So you pretty much have ramped up for this school year as well.
Yes, so I had a wonderful opportunity. The Board of Education really wanted me to have a good start. So they approved a pre-learning entry plan that really brought me into the district starting in February of this year. I was able to visit the district 2 or 3 days per month February, March, and April. Then in May 1st, to have some transition time with a third interim superintendent, I was actually the incoming superintendent for the month of May, and then started full-time June 1st, and June 1st was a very special day because that was our commencement exercises. So that was my first full day as a superintendent.
So tell me what it's like to have ramped up into this position, but also it gives you a different perspective because you were able to almost fly over the district at least for a few months before actually getting your hands dirty in the day-to-day operations.
Yes, it was an invaluable time. I was able to meet with all of our school leaders. I visited every single one of our schools, and it's so valuable to see our scholars learning before you start as the leader of a school district. So I was able to see most of the spring semester 1 or 2 days at a time, and then was able to be here every day during May, during the final month of school. And that was just so very important for me to be able to see principals and school leaders in their element, understand how our central office worked better, also connecting with many of our community members. We had meet and greets in various parts of our community, so it was very invaluable for me to meet families, community members, and partners during that time so that I didn't feel behind starting as a new superintendent, new community member July 1st.
So administratively, what perspective did it give you? I mean, when you were looking at the structure of the district,
Yes.
did it form some opinion in your mind early on?
Well, one of my goals during that time was to learn more about the district. So I asked school leaders, I asked many parents and family members, I set up 10-minute meetings where anyone in the district could come talk to me, and I had 4 guiding questions. What do you want me to know about our community? What do you want me to know about our schools? Is there anything that you would improve in the schools, and what's celebrated in the schools? And I learned a lot during that time. I learned that we have a very cohesive and wonderful staff who works very hard. I also learned about some gaps in organization and support for schools that I felt very strongly needed to be addressed very quickly. So those one-on-one conversations especially with school principals and leaders and our district team, really helped me understand better how we could organize ourselves to better support schools.
Is that where your idea of the need for a deputy superintendent came from?
That was definitely an impetus for this position. So what I've experienced in my educational leadership journey to Rock Island Milan School District is that there's often a disconnect between our district and strategic goals and how those are implemented in schools. And one of the key drivers is someone who can be that conduit between the central office and the schools, someone who's able to coach and work with school leaders day to day, who can support them in implementing new policies and practices that are really governed by our Board of Education and then our district office leaders down to the schools. So that person is really a conduit, as I mentioned, between the district office and school leaders so that we can fully implement the Board of Education policies, procedures, et cetera, with a high level of fidelity. So often schools are out by themselves and on islands. We have many school leaders who are the only leader in their building, and it can be a very isolating experience to lead within a school district. So one of the ways I like to think about it, and I coined this phrase when I was meeting with the team one day, there are no islands in the Rock Island Milan School District. And by having this position, but also helping our central office leaders understand that their main role is to be in schools, supporting school leaders and teachers, is highly valuable to me and will impact, I believe, the overall organization.
There was a little controversy among the public in regards to the creation of this position. Were you surprised a bit by that type of backlash?
I was surprised a bit, but I understand that any change is hard in a community and in a school district. I feel very strongly that, and I did research around districts about our same size, For instance, the Moline-Coal Valley School District does have a deputy superintendent. They have approximately 900 to 1,000 more scholars than we do. But other school districts in the state of Illinois with our same population also have a deputy superintendent or multiple other assistant superintendents of various divisions. So I was a bit surprised, but not totally thrown off, because I know that change is hard in a school district, in a community, and I've tried hard to explain what that person will do so that they can understand the value of having someone to bridge that gap between the district office and schools.
Repeatedly, you have referred to students as scholars rather than students, and I
Yes.
know that you do that on purpose. So
Yes.
explain to me why that's important to you.
I think it's important, well, one of the most important reasons for me is that school is an experience that prepares our children for their next lives, post-secondary. And I think it's so important for us to raise the rigor and standard of how we look at the children who attend our schools. And by offering the term scholars to our school district, I am doing that to raise the rigor and expectations for each child that attends our schools every day. I really believe that we can push our school district to new heights in terms of academic achievement, and by renaming the children who come to us in our care scholars, I think that brings it to another higher level of expectation.
The diversity of the Rock Island Milan School District is amazing. The number of
Yes.
languages spoken is surprising to me, of course.
Yes.
First off, was it surprising to you? And of course, as a school district, you want to embrace it.
Yes.
But how do you embrace it and improve upon it?
Well, it wasn't surprising because I did a lot of research before I applied for the position of superintendent.
Was that somewhat making it more appealing as a position?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in many of my experiences leading up to the superintendency here, I worked in very diverse school districts with multiple languages, lots of language diversity, ethnicity diversity, et cetera. And that really drew me to the district, as well as being a large district in Illinois and a pre-K through 12th grade district. Leveraging the language diversity in our school district is a challenge and a blessing. We have students from all over the world, and their families have relocated to the Rock Island Milan community to seek a better life and a better education, and I believe that that is one of our first priorities. We've started to talk within the communications team around how to strengthen our ability to engage our families who may have some language diversity, so I think that's important for us to do. Besides being the law, in order to make sure that all families understand the rights and responsibilities of their scholars, it's certainly an opportunity for us to really embrace the diversity and have our students be multilingual scholars who can go out from Rock Island Milan School District and impact the world.
I really want to spend a little time talking about retention of students and getting them through graduation.
Yes.
And the school district just approved another contract with the Center for High School Success.
Yes.
Let's talk about this.
Yes.
The whole point of ninth grade on graduation rates. Tell me why you think that this system that you're going into is really a good system to keep kids in schools.
Yes. So I just took a peek at our data, our long-range data for ninth grade on track. That is one of the metrics for the Illinois school report card. And that element really hones in on the importance of keeping students on track. So we know from the research that if students are failing one or more classes in the ninth grade, they are less likely to graduate on time. So the Center for High School Success is going to have us look at our data more frequently around that area. That includes all of our grades for our ninth grade scholars. It looks at behavior and performance and discipline. As you know, and I think back to my entry into ninth grade, that can be a scary time for students. They're going from a very sheltered environment in the junior high schools in our case to a 1,715 scholar building. It can be overwhelming. And what we've done at Rock Island High School is create a ninth grade academy that helps our scholars to be more sheltered so that they can receive more support. And it's so important for us to keep track of their grades because scholars can slip very easily in the ninth grade. It can be challenging to move to up to seven classes a day and be able to be organized around that. And so our impetus for bringing the Center for High School Success on is to help coach our leadership team, to help coach the lead of the ninth grade academy, and then eventually coach our ninth grade teachers around strategies to keep ninth graders involved and on track in school. We started with a ninth grade on track to graduation rate of about 80-something% in 2019. In 2020, we know what happened. And since that time, we have had low 70s percentages in terms of ninth grade on track. And we feel like we have all of the structures in place to improve that. We just need a little coaching and boost in that area. So that contract with the Center for High School Success will start this fall, and again supporting our school leaders to create those systems and data systems for us and protocols for us to look at to make sure all of our scholars are on track.
It really does seem to aim, because I was reading through the promises or the agendas that they propose, that is really very student-oriented and individual student-oriented.
Yes.
So that's not so much getting lost in the classroom.
Yes. So very personalized. As I mentioned, it's a hard transition for a very young adolescent to go from a sheltered 400 or so scholar school to 1715. And it's a very complex time for students because the rigor of classes becomes harder as well, and they can become lost. So that's why we chose the ninth grade academy structure, so that they won't get lost in the 1700.
Get it early, as you're saying. It's interesting too, is that as far as education is concerned, you're seeing people with more of a pushback against four-year schools in a way, and that graduating from a college isn't as important as it used to be. That's not necessarily the case for high school students. Is that not correct? Because that high school diploma is still so critically important.
It is critically important to the vitality of any community, any city. And what I like to say is that we know that all scholars won't choose a 2-year or a 4-year college when they leave our school system, but we want them to be prepared in the case that they do. So that high school diploma really is that link between a high-paying, a high-demand job or next step after high school, and it's so very important. And graduating in 4 years is important as well. As you know, once scholars get behind in the ninth grade and the 10th grade, it's so much harder to catch up and to be with their peers to graduate on time. So that's why that ninth grade on track to graduation and the academy is so important. But it's also important for us to take care of our scholars all along the way, because it is, again, so important to obtain that high school diploma. Our district is currently in the mid-70 range for high school graduation rates, which is about 10 points, at least 10 points below the state average for graduation rates. And any business or industry who's looking at the Rock Island Milan school community to come in wants to know that we have a strong school system that's going to graduate scholars who can go right into the world of work, go into our 2 or 4 year universities and colleges, and give back to the community.
I really did want to spend the majority of time talking about you and the students, but let's talk about infrastructure as well, because bricks and mortar are very important to a school district. There has been a great investment because of the 1% sales tax, and that it's been used for a number of ways to improve the school buildings, each and every single one of them. How important has it been to update the infrastructure of Rock Island schools, and where do you see the need now?
Yes, so we are in the middle of a short and long-term facilities management planning process. That 1% sales tax has been invaluable to the infrastructure of the school district. We have, over the years at the last board meeting, we kind of looked at the 2014 plan and how we have improved schools since that time.
Right.
They spent a lot of that money working on secured entries for all of our schools, for working things like locks on classroom doors, roofs, floors, making sure that our schools have what they need in terms of heating and air conditioning as well. It's been a big project. We have very historic buildings within our school district.
That's one way to look at it.
Yes.
And it's about $64 million in renovations since
Yes,
2017.
Absolutely. So we're finishing up this summer the last of the HVAC projects. We do still have room to grow in certain of our schools in terms of our roofs. And as I mentioned, it's an aging infrastructure, so looking at some of our plumbing systems. Because technology has really improved the way we're teaching and learning in schools, many of those upgrades have to do with that as well. We've also made many security upgrades as well. I mentioned the secured entries at each of our locations, but that includes adding key fob door fobs for our doors instead of keys, surveillance systems, and improving security in other ways.
And that's going to be added on even now with a new weapons detection system that's to be introduced to some schools this year?
Yes. So we have the Evolve systems that will be installed at the high school and the 2 junior high schools. They're set for delivery today. Our staff is going to be trained on those systems during this week in the lead up to our start of school. This is just another layer of security for us. As I mentioned, we have new secured entryways at each of our buildings to keep our students and staff safe. And this is just another layer to help us ensure that we keep our buildings safe.
How will this impact students and visitors from this step forward? I mean, what would be the change that people would notice?
Yes, so the Evolve systems are very user-friendly. In other words, people can get through them very quickly. They have a very high level of sensitivity to items that are weapons, so that our staff can quickly identify anyone with a weapon, can identify on them where that weapon is on their body, and then take them to another location to further deal with the issue. The throughput is very quick with these systems, so we're anticipating that it will be a learning process over the first couple of days of school in terms of making sure everybody can go through the weapons detectors upon entry to school. But we're working now to start practicing with the systems this week to make sure that we can keep everybody on time and moving.
As we start this new school year, what is your message to parents and to students 2024, 2025? But it's a big school year for these incoming seniors.
Yes.
And for these incoming kindergartners and for their parents.
Absolutely. So we are really going to focus in on our scholar achievement this year, even more than in years past. We have our staff coming back on August 1st. We have a district in-service day. We have a very special keynote speaker on that day, Dr. Laureen Radish, who wrote a book, Leading a Culture of Reading. And I feel it's so very important for us to focus in on our reading skills of our scholars, to get our students reading more, our teachers talking to students about what they're reading in books, and to get excited about it. And many of the conversations I've had with our staff members, what they've pointed out to me is that we have good schools. We can be great if we improve our reading ability of our students. And so that's going to be one of our focus for this school year, and we're going to kick that off on August 1st. Again, school starts on August 5th. That is early for this area, so we want to emphasize the start date. We want to see scholars and families excited to come back on August 5th and really improve our attendance on the first day of school to get everybody in and ready to go.
A great year ahead for Rocky?
Absolutely. We have a wonderful leadership team at Rock Island High School. Our athletics department is working hard, as always, to make sure that our teams are ready and competitive. Again, the 9th Grade on Track initiative there. And we're looking forward to a safe, warm, inviting school year.
Our thanks to Rock Island Milan School Superintendent Dr. Sharon Williams. Musicians Rebecca Casad and Alan Morrison say they covered different music styles over the past 5 decades, but they all have a bit of spin. They joined us at the Black Box Theater to play one of those originals that were written by Rebecca. Here's Every Day of the Year. Rebecca Casad and Alan Morrison with Every Day of the Year. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
The future, that's where our minds are at Western Illinois University Quad Cities. We are innovators, searching for something new outside of the textbooks. Dog-loving, leadership-driven, world-changing. Whether you choose to study on campus or online, your future is designed on your terms. Start your future at wiu.edu/QC.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.